Metal Nation, you're listening to Podcast Them Down, but you already fucking knew that. I am Tim, as always. Joining me is Mike. We are in Recently Vacated Graves, True Zombie Metal, and Eisenmore, which is folk metal with more strings than we know what to do with. That's
well,
not
I think
true
that's
at
the
all.
problem
We know
with
exactly what to do with them.
Yeah. The problem is that we use too many of them.
That's right. So, and we are looking for a violist and a cellist. So, no, we're not. That was a joke.
I was going to say,
we're adding 8 more strings. No. No, we are not. We are not doing that. All right. So, metal promo reviews. We are going to read metal promos and decide, based on the promo alone, what fraction of our ears we are willing to give the promos. So 0 would be no ears, and 2 would be 2 ears. There. That really needed to be explained. All right, here we go. NARGATHROND, End of Days, self-released, out last year for some reason. I got this today. October 29th, 2021, just in time for last Halloween. Digital and CD, genres dark synthwave metal. Countries Germany. Tracklist, pure fucking darkness. Beyond Neon Streets. Poison in Our Hearts, featuring Johnny Death Shadow. Barath. New Nature, featuring Shepardo. Poison in Our Hearts instrumental version and New Nature instrumental version. Lineup, Everything. Stefan Lawrence, better known as NARGATHROND. And guest vocals, as mentioned, Johnny Death Shadow and Shepardo. This album describes the process when mankind destroys themselves and the planet Earth by their own acting. It is the first full EP of NARGATHROND. The musical journey you can expect goes through different genres like dark synthwave, gothic, black metal. Featured artists on guest vocals are Johnny Death Shadow and Shepardo. For fans of Carpenter Brute, Perturbator, Ghost, Dance with the Dead, Motionless in White, Sisters of Mercy. This album was recorded, mixed, and mastered at NARGATHROND Studios in Neuhaus Ilmenau, Germany by Stefan Lawrence. Bandcamp is nargathrond.bandcamp.com. That's NARGATHROND.bandcamp.com. And the promo photo is very black metal. It's a guy dressed in black with his hood up, standing in snow next to a forest, and it's black and white. So it's, yeah, that's pretty black metal. There's more like there's a fence type thing in there. So it's not your typical stand in the forest. This is stand near a forest. Black metal promo photo.
Stand in a national park in the winter.
And I gotta say, you know, he says dark synth wave and black metal, and I think the album cover is like an exactly perfect rendition of that. He's got like the like a wireframe 3D model of kind of like a canyon, right? And towards the end of the canyon is an inverted cross, and then above that is black and white clouds and the band logo.
All right. I had an errant thought as you were reading this, and it actually turns out to have been a little bit more appropriate than I anticipated.
Oh, yeah? I gotta hear.
He needs to get rid of the D. So it's NARGATHROND, because that sounds a little bit more robotic. And given the style, I think that's really appropriate for what they're going for.
Well, I do want to point out, this is just a minor problem, but that D has an inverted cross in the logo, so it's serving a purpose. But that being said, you could move it to the N if you drop the D.
Yeah.
So,
but there's some symmetry there. I get it.
Yeah. I'm counting 3 inverted crosses on this cover and 1 Virtual Boy game.
Yeah, so in terms of the song titles, it feels like it walks the line between Impiety and Hymn. Impiety, if you're unfamiliar with them, they're a Singaporean black metal band, and I bought one of their albums when I was young purely because the name of the album was Skull Fucking Armageddon.
It's a good name.
It is a fantastic name, and I had to know what it sounded like. So you have Pure Fucking Darkness.
Yep.
And then you have Poison in Our Hearts?
That's right, featuring Johnny Death Shadow.
I also feel like Johnny Death Shadow, his name is probably just Johnny, and Nargathron was like, dude, you got to do something. It can't just be Johnny. I can't just have guest Johnny. Something.
Did you ever watch Viva Variety on Comedy Central 20 years ago? So it was the guys from The State and Reno 911, the same actors, and it was supposed to be a variety show based on a formerly communist country, like that's putting on a classic American style comedy show. And was it Michael Ian Black played a character called Johnny Blue Jeans? So, I'm Johnny Blue Jeans, and he'd like, it was very like, it was the American idea of former Soviet bloc countries doing American
it was like layers of irony.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it was hosted by Mr. and the former Mrs. Lopin. That's were your hosts, played by Thomas Lennon and Carrie Kinney. Anyway, when I say Johnny Death Shadow, I think of Johnny Blue Jeans. So it's like a guy who thinks he's black metal. That's what I'm picturing, but he's like not getting it quite right. I'm Johnny Death Shadow. I cry the blood.
I'm trying to imagine what a bad imitation of black metal would be. It's like he comes out in clown makeup, maybe because he heard about face paint, but he wasn't totally sure exactly what that meant.
Right. So I'm sorry if I'm way off base, Johnny Death Shadow, but
you could be hard. You could be Kvalt.
Yeah, you could be Kvalt as fuck, and it's just lost in translation, or maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know which one of those it is.
First comment on this is just dumb.
Wouldn't surprise me. All right, and so my take on this is, I've heard of one of these bands in the For Fans Of, so I'm guessing this isn't for me. So I'm going to give this a quarter of an ear, just in case it is for me.
They mentioned Motionless in White.
Yes.
So I have to give it a negative quarter of an ear.
Ouch. Wait, where's the... But if you like any of those bands I listed, check them out. All right. Moving on. September release. So we're going from last Halloween to this September. NECRAMBULANT, A Feast of Festering Flesh. Self-released.
I'm already into this.
September 9th, 2022, which we haven't announced it yet, but it's probably... That is probably when all this is coming out.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a treat for the YouTube's people.
Official bootleg?
Yes.
Can you release your own bootleg?
Yeah, Dream Theater does it all the time.
Yeah, but I mean is right, maybe we can have another episode debating.
Maybe this requires some explanation. See, it's all GoPros, and one of them's a field recording, so it's not like a proper thing, like live thing. Right.
Yeah, but I feel like bootleg implies like some degree of nefariousness.
It does. I didn't tell anyone we filmed it.
So you were pulling something over on the rest of Burning Shadows, and that's what makes it bootleg.
Maybe.
And that's what was happening with Dream Theater. Mike Portnoy was recording everything. Nobody knew.
But that's why I was comfortable. I wanted it to be better than bootleg. But not as... I didn't want to raise expectations to amazing live CD because, it was just like... Yeah, anyway.
You should have called it contraband. Official contraband.
Well, stay tuned for that. It's the type of thing that other bands, when they used to have fan clubs, would give out to their fan clubs. That's the type of thing it is. Anyway, here we go. Where was I? A Feast of Festering Flesh, September 9th, 2022. The band is NECRAMBULANT. The release title, I already said, Feast of Festering Flesh. Genre, brutal death, slamming death. Country, United States. It has been eight... does not say.
Phoenix.
I can buy that based on the colors of the artwork. It looks like it's hot. It has been 8 years since NECRAMBULANT sank into the sewers to stew and rot in putrescent solitude. But after all this time, not even the hot, stinking gutters of Arizona, I should have just read it, could stomach such a repulsive creation before retching back up the inhuman plague that has been churning in the bowels of septic filth all this time. Risen from the putrid depths, NECRAMBULANT is back with a brand new banquet of slamming brutal death metal presented to you as a Feast of Festering Flesh by way of Gorehouse Productions. Bon appetit! Track list: Propensity for Cannibalistic Pleasure, Internal Necrotic Putrefaction, Necromorphic Genesis of Celestial Horror, Necroambulatory Slamdemic.
Slamdemic.
That's a good one. Messianic Despoiler, and Sacramental Murderous Phantasm. Lineup: Andy Bone Meat York. Vocals and lyrics. By the way, here in Baltimore, we'd say Bone Meat. Bone Meat York. Andy's the same in Baltimore. Let's see. Ron Clark, guitars and bass. Matt Riena on drums. Based out of Phoenix, Arizona, NECRAMBULANT was formed in 2008, shortly after the band's debut album, Infernal Infectious Necroambulatory Pandemic. The group disbanded with no return date in sight. After a lengthy hiatus, the band reformed, and with the addition of Matt Riena from Fetal Disgorge on drums. 2022 marks NECRAMBULANT's return, which includes their latest studio offering, A Feast of Festering Flesh. The MCD features 6 new tracks of septic slammage inspired by the golden age era of horror, gore, and groove. Or, well, it says grove-driven death metal. Yeah, you'd think maybe they were from Florida. That's not something.
They're actually a vegan band.
that's not something autocorrect can pick up. It was recorded by Jeff Moore in a Deep Root Studio, Tempe, Arizona in 2022. Produced by NECRAMBULANT and Jeff Moore, and cover art painted by Alexander Lindahl. There is... okay. So there's no Bandcamp link. There is a Facebook link, which is NECRAMBULANT AZ. Which, does that mean right. NECRAMBULANT was taken and they're the Arizona one? But they did snag NECRAMBULANT on Instagram, and so the band photo is I don't know, it's 3 dudes who look like they're in a brutal death metal band, and one guy looks like he can fold me in half. And I don't know, the other guys look like they could hurt me too.
There is a necrambulant.bandcamp.com, but there's nothing on it.
Oh, you should put your stuff on Bandcamp.
And it says, "You can't kill what's already dead. NECRAMBULANT is back. Hold on to your butts."
Oh, I like it. Jurassic Park reference too. And then there's the artwork. It's just like a rotting skull face.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm in for half an ear each, totaling 1 ear.
See, I'd do an ear and a quarter. It would be higher except for Slamdemic, as amused as I am by it.
I don't know. I do like their song titles are fun to read, as is the paragraph preceding it. So
their album art actually in general was pretty solid. Like if you look up the album art for their prior album, Infernal Infectious Necroambulatory Pandemic, which came out in 2013. Interestingly, it's actually very detailed, graphic, but detailed.
Whoa, yeah, that looks like you could throw Immolation on there and I'd believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a solid death metal cover.
Yeah, that's like it's a bunch of decaying undead ghouls, zombies perhaps, ripping apart an apparently still living victim, and you can see his entrails, and he has various bite marks and gore. Yeah, that's awesome.
He looks.
Their cover game is strong.
The second track off of that album is Dysmorphic Evisceration of Evolved Souls by the baleful spawn of the primeval protogenoi. Which almost sounds... Have you ever heard of the band Lymphatic Phlegm?
I've heard of them.
Okay. They're... As far as I am aware, they literally take medical textbooks and just read them.
Oh, yeah, that band. Yep.
But as a result, their song titles are extremely long, and that's what that reminds me of.
I love it. Brilliant. Did you, oh yeah, you were an ear and a quarter, which is about here on each side.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. All right. I'm very curious as to what you're going to say about this. Invaders. Oh, no. So this is another September release. Invaders, Beware of the Night. Invaders is a heavy metal band from Madrid, Spain, founded at the end of 2016 by Adrian Garcia, Sergio Garcia, and Sergio Chamoso. The band is completed with the addition of Jorge Blanco on drums and Mario BJ on guitar. With this lineup, they embarked on their first shows in the underground scene. In 2018, Adrian Rica joins on drums, adding the power that leads them to record their first EP, Metal Madness, released in April 2019. In March 2021, they released the single Endless Wait. Among their list of shows stands out as having played with Panzer, Jorge Salon, or Bella Bestia. During the first half of 2022, Invaders recorded their debut full-length album, Beware of the Night, which led them to get signed to Fighter Records for its release in September of the same year on CD, 12-inch LP, cassette, and digital formats. Invaders is the people I mentioned. So that's the whole thing, except these images. So I don't even know how to describe it. So it's a...
if you've seen Kung Fury, it looks like it belongs with Kung Fury. That's the only thing.
So it's a lady on the cover, and her hand is smoking like she's some sort of sorceress. All right, and but she looks like she was plucked from a 1980s killer movie, horror movie. It says "Beware of the Night" on it in a campy horror movie type font.
Well,
and then
it's got
and then they got the logo, which like thrash metal logos look like you could hurt yourself on them, but you could pick up the Invaders logo and be fine.
It's got a heavy 80s shtick, and they're looking at their Metal Archives page.
Well, how about this? 80s
yeah,
shtick.
Exactly.
So band photo. I can't get it to focus. So how about you go ahead and describe the band photos?
I mean, they're wearing... Almost everybody has an open jacket adorned with sequins or the things on the end. Have you ever seen motorcycles with the crazy tassels?
Yeah, the fringes. Tassels, you got fringes.
Yeah, so you got a guy with a fringe jacket. You got a guy with studs. You got a guy that basically looks like he's wearing Michael Jackson's jacket.
Yeah, the whole thing is very Steel Panther-esque. And
yes.
The guy in the back middle has those glasses from that era, too.
Yeah, and they're all like, several of them are wearing headbands. They've got feathered.
I didn't even notice that.
The hair is all feathered except for the one. Well, is it just the one guy? Yeah, the two of them don't have feathered hair. You know what I mean? They look like. Oh, you spin me right round. What band is that? I've lost it. Why can I not think of the name of that band? That's terrible.
That is. Why can't you just tell? Or Dead or Alive? Why couldn't you just tell me?
Yes.
That?
Yes. Yeah. They basically they look like they're plucked out of Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Maybe with less like kimono / dress. I think actually your Steel Panther reference is much more accurate. They look like a hair metal band plucked straight out of the 80s and plopped in 2022.
Yep. So
I'm super interested, actually.
You're interested? Okay, well,
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I want to hear it.
I'm not into hair metal. This is not for me.
Me neither. But I want to know what this sounds like.
But I will give it half an ear.
So I'll give it an ear and a half. I really want to. I might listen to one song, and I might be done with it. But there's such a commitment to the 80s aesthetic, man. Like, this is impressive. I mean, look at the album. I will give them that. I mean, she's got like the. Am I dating myself? Like the Delta Burke hair, maybe.
Yes, you're dating yourself.
And everything is pink, is neon pink and blue. You know, she's got like bangles, and it's incredible. The attention to detail for the 80s here is magnificent. I'm very impressed.
All right, well, there you have it. Are we right? Are we wrong? Let us know, and maybe we'll address your comments. But we know we're right. So until next time, Metal Nation, keep it 80s.
That was a good mutual ad lib.